Here is something that doesn't sound dramatic at first, but I genuinely think it's one of the most important EV changes of the decade or the next decade. Every electric vehicle sold in Europe is about to become very, very different. It's going to come with a digital battery passport, not a sticker, not a QR code. There are some things that people aren't really talking about, and I thought it would be very important. I should mention that. So it's not about it's not a marketing label. It's a live digital tracking record that follows the battery for its entire life. And once you understand what is actually inside that passport, it completely changes how we think about used EVs, battery safety, recycling, even the prices of used vehicles. Let's jump into it. Hello folks, my name is Ben Alexander. I'm really thrilled to see so many people watching my videos recently, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much to these people who are the members as well. So what is a digital battery passport? It's a digital identity for an EV battery. So you've got to think of it kind of like a VIN number, a service history, a health report, a supply chain audit. It's all rolled into one. Even every battery over 2 kilowatt hours sold within the European Union will need one. So that's like 700 and something million people in that market, a very big market. That includes EVs, plug-in hybrids, e-scooters, vans, trucks, basically anything over 2 kilowatt hours, grid scale batteries, home storage batteries. They will all come with a sort of tracker that sends data to the internet, to a safe, secure place, allegedly, and it will go on the internet, and then they can see if it's ever overheated, how fast it's been charged, how many times it's been charged, has it ever been too depleted. It's literally all available to the European Union, actually, so it's super significant. The passport stores where the raw materials came from, what chemistry the battery uses, how it was manufactured, its carbon footprint, how many charging cycles it's had, of course, how often it has been fast charged, temperature history, repairs, recalls, state of health over time, literally anything to do with the battery, it is recording and uploading. And it's accessed via a digital ID, typically a QR code linked to a secure database. Some people have thoughts on this. What do you think? I'm sure there's a whole range of people on both sides of this one. So this isn't really optional. It's written into the EU battery regulation and will literally be in by 2027 in February. So for cars anyway. And if a car maker wants to sell an EV in Europe after that date, the battery must have a passport. Here's why this matters. Batteries account for roughly 25 to 40% of an EV's total life cycle emissions. Depending on where and how they're made, a battery produced in China using a coal-heavy electricity setup can have a carbon footprint of around 100 to 120 kilograms of CO2 per kilowatt hour of battery. The same battery made in Sweden is 50. It's actually under 50, 48 or 49 or something like that. That is a very big difference for the same car in carbon emissions just to get it to the car, and then you start using the car. So until now, buyers had no way of knowing that. We had to go on a bit of trust from the manufacturers. Regulators could not enforce it properly either. The battery passport changes that completely. So it also will give the EU more of what they want, and something which is taxable, quantifiably, not imponderably. For buyers, especially used EV buyers as well, this is huge. It's probably the biggest pro for someone who's buying an EV. That's the person I think is going to be benefiting the most. Right now, when you buy a used EV, you're basically trusting the seller and that little bit of data on the screen that the car will give you, like a Tesla. The battery is fine, healthy battery. Maybe there's a vague percentage health figure if you're lucky, depending on the car. Maybe not. Teslas do very, very good with this, I think. And it will tell you the battery status on screen, and it will state the battery is healthy. With a battery passport, you'll be able to see exactly how the battery was used, how many DC fast chargers, the maximum amps it's ever put out, whether it was regularly overheated, whether it has been repaired, whether it has had cell replacements. Who repaired it is also another one. That takes a massive amount of uncertainty out of the second-hand market. But it does give a lot of data, doesn't it? You do give a lot of data and a lot of control and data to other people, like the EU, for example. I honestly think this could boost used EV values over time. I think was probably a necessity, I would imagine, or something similar. And that's important because EV adoption doesn't really scale properly without a strong used market. Without a used market, if every car tanked in value, no one would buy a new one. So we need to do things to just nurture the health, really make a nice healthy used car market after this. For manufacturers, this adds cost and complexity. There is no way around that, unfortunately for them. Car makers now need systems that track battery data from the mine all the way when it's still in the ground, all the way to end-of-life recycling. So that is easier for vertically integrated companies like BYD. Actually, I think BYD probably saw that coming. I don't think Tesla would have seen that coming. Maybe they did. Elon Musk is a witty guy. Battery makers like CATL, LG Energy Solution, Northvolt actually will probably benefit quite a bit because of this, actually. Most of them already track cell level data. This regulation rewards companies that invested early in traceability and quality control. It also hits greenwashing very, very hard. You can't just claim that your battery is ethical and then just say it and stick it on your website, or low carbon, anything like that anymore. You actually have to evidence it. It has to be proved, actually. So it can't just be evidenced or highly evidenced. It needs to be proved or proven. And that matters because from 2031, the EU will mandate minimum recycled content in batteries. So another thing they're doing. 12% cobalt, 4% lithium, 4% nickel, 85% lead without a digital passport. Enforcing that would be literally impossible. There is also a safety angle that people are not talking about enough. Battery passports help regulators identify patterns. If a specific chemistry, factory or batch started to show higher failure rates, or there was a connection there with different ones setting on fire, and they were out of a batch that left on February the 12th from, I don't know, Hungary or something in a factory, that would obviously be traceable, and they would recognize that, and they will no doubt use AI to figure out stuff. That improves recalls, shipping rules, insurance assessments. The insurance thing, very, very serious thing. Have you tried getting on a ferry with an electric car? It can now get quite expensive in certain parts of the world. Insurance is going really high for the companies that own the boats, basically the ship. Even if you don't live in Europe, this affects you. So Norway, Switzerland, the UK, not in the EU, but they will probably still mirror these rules too. The US already has similar traceability requirements through the Inflation Reduction Act. Australia usually follows Europe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, something like that. So there's usually a bit of lag, I think. Once manufacturers build these systems, they don't really build separate batteries for different markets. The standards kind of just spread. It's a standard thing. So much like the China video I made recently about China with the door handles. So they have to standardize certain specific things for mechanical door handles now in every car sold in China. So this is the EV market growing up, isn't it? It started off so mildly with the, well, there's been a couple of times, obviously, in the history of EVs, but then in this new era, of course, we started with maybe the Nissan Leaf or something like that. If you're European, Nissan Leaf maybe. And then it started getting really deep now. A lot of tech, a lot of things to consider, especially safety-wise. I hope this is the end to batteries overheating, because manufacturers now are going to be more closely observed if they sell cars with crappy, terrible quality batteries that, like the Nissan Leaf, actually, brilliant car, but the batteries just fell apart as soon as they got warm for a few years. The range just vanished and kept having cell issues on the 30 kilowatt hour version. So it makes batteries less mysterious, less risky, more accountable. And the manufacturers certainly, and the brands who are selling the vehicles, much more accountable, which is always a good thing. Accountability is something you really shouldn't, you don't want to see that not in society. You want to have a lot of accountability because things don't go so wrong if there is. By 2030, Europe alone is expected to sell, and Europe is a small market, by the way, for this, over 1.6 million tons of lithium-ion batteries. That is hundreds of millions of individual cells. You simply can't manage sustainability or safety or recycling at scale without digital tracking. So it's kind of a necessity in a market this serious and this heavily dependent on safety and public reputation, that sort of thing. And in China, it's many, 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 many more times that amount of batteries. So yeah, a battery passport doesn't make your EV faster. It doesn't increase range. It doesn't look exciting. It might sound boring, but it is going to reshape everything we talk about in our EV, world in 5 years' time, I should imagine. But it might be the thing that really makes EVs much more reliable. Let me know your thoughts on it. And you know, do you think this is sensible regulation? Is it government overreach? Is it European Union overreach? What do you think? I'm really curious to see where people are, what your first thoughts are when I made this video. Thank you for watching.